motion is related to time and space. Any movement can take time. That is moving in time. And also moving means taking a distance. Moving in a distance. Distance is in a space. That is why any movement is related to time and space. But this is with regard to the physical movement in the material world. There is a movement in our mental world also. It also takes time mentally, mental time, psychological time. In our mind, we have our past, the present, and the future. What we remember is related to our past. Past is time. What we become aware of is related to the present moment. Our sense organs can become aware of things in the present moment. And our hopes are related to our wishes, our expectations, our aims, our targets are related to our future. Though we become aware of the past, the present, and the future mentally, it is only our imagination, our thinking, remembering. The mind is not going into the past materially, but mentally it remembers things of the past. Therefore, mental time is our memory. In the past and the mental future, as I mentioned earlier, is our hopes, expectations, and so on. Though there is no material space and time in our mind, we experience mental movement. Thinking means moving mentally from the past through the present into the future. It is our past that is projected into our future mentally. Thinking is also related to our past, the present, and the future. We remember something means we remember it at the present moment. But what we remember is not a thing that is available at the moment materially, physically, but what is dead and gone. It is no more there, but its image is there in our mind. Therefore, mental past is a is a mental image. Similarly, the mental future too is a mental image. What our mind imagines. Even the present too is also a mental image. We become aware of material phenomena through our sense organs. They are around us. Eye can become aware, the ear can become aware, the nose can become aware, the tongue can become aware, the body can become aware. Ultimately, awareness is the awareness of our mind, our consciousness. It is our consciousness that becomes aware. Consciousness is the basis of our mind. Whatever we think, our mind is aware of. Thinking is based on consciousness. It is a conscious mind that can think. When we think, we become conscious of the dead past and also the unborn future. We think of things with the help of our knowledge, gathered or saved in our brain. Knowledge means the data or the information saved in the brain. We use that data to think. Thinking logical means thinking with the help of the knowledge that has been acquired in the past. Knowledge is related to the past, that is dead. Knowing is at the moment. Awareness is at the moment. Mindfulness is at the moment. But the hopes, the expectations, they are of the unborn future. Therefore, the mind can move in time from the dead past through the living present into the unborn future. That is what is called our psychological type. Though the mind can mentally move that way, the state of Nirvana referred to by the Buddha that he realized at the Enlightenment is free of space and time. Space is related to material phenomena. Space consists of length, at least 3 dimensions. Space consists of length, breadth, height, thickness. That means in the space, movement is possible horizontally, right to left, horizontally, or front and back, horizontally. Vertically, the movement is possible up and down. But in the state of mind called Nirvana, there is no space. It is infinity in space. The Pali word is Ananta. Similarly, it has no time. That is why Nirvana is called in Pali Akaliko. timeless. There is space when there is a material manifestation which has length, breadth and height, etc. We can measure it. These measurements are called dimensions. Material world is a dimensional world, and a world in which motion is possible, going along a distance. But in the Nirvana, there is the eternity of the moment. The enlightened mind can see the dead past and the unborn future here and now itself, because enlightened mind exists here and now. That is called the presence of the mind that is practiced on the path to enlightenment. That is awareness, practiced in the path to enlightenment. Awareness is sensation without thinking. That is the technique followed for enlightenment, and it becomes permanently established. Awareness without thinking gets permanently established at the enlightenment. That is why Buddha, in his first paean of joy, uttered, "Thinking ceased at the enlightenment." His words are, "Visankara gatan chitta." That means no more thought formations. Thought formations are mental images, formation of mental images. Images are illusions. Mental images are illusions. Like the images in a mirror, a TV screen, cinema screen, etc. Your image can appear in a mirror, but that is not you. It looks real, but actually it is not real. It is an illusion created by the vision. Similarly, all our mental images, though they appear real, are illusions. When we see a bird, the image of that bird gets formed in our eye, biologically. And that image is reflected in our mind and can be recognized by the mind with the help of the memory stored up in the brain. We know that creature is a bird with the help of our knowledge that we have gathered in the past and retained in our brain. We can recognize somebody as father, mother, brother, sister, friend, enemy, etc. through our knowledge. We can recognize a thing as a tree, as a mountain, as a river, etc. with the help of the past knowledge. That means our knowledge is our memory. And that memory, though it appears real, is not real. As I mentioned earlier, all our thinking is based on our memories. Without memory, we cannot think of anything. Memory is related to the past in time, and thinking means moving from the past into the future and from the future into the present and from the present into the future. Because our thinking is related not only to the past but also to the future. We think of things that we like. We like something means we like something with the help of our previous knowledge, and our liking it means we want it to continue in the unborn future also. We dislike something means we dislike something through our past experience. And we dislike it not to be with us in the future. Removing it in the future. Now it is with us and we want to remove it in the future. It can be with us physically as well as mentally. When we think of something unpleasant, it is unpleasant means we don't like it, we want to get rid of it. Normally we don't want to think of things unpleasant, but we want to think of only things that are pleasant. And our confusions in the mind, without knowing something. Now, for example, in Hamlet, the Prince Hamlet said, to be or not to be, that is the question. To live or not to live. Live is related to the present and the future. Not to live means you are living at the moment. If you want to die yourself, the death is related to the unborn future. All our thinkings are based on our wishes, our expectations, our ideals. All of them are related to the unborn future. That means thinking, as I mentioned earlier, is a mental movement from the dead past through the living present into the future. It is a projection, mental projection, image making, concept making. As I mentioned earlier, thinking ceases at the enlightenment as it happened to the Buddha. Visankara gatan citta. That means no more illusions or hallucinations. They see the reality of things as they are. That is called in Pali as yatha bhuta jnana darsana. Seeing things as they are. But in our case, we see things, recognize them through our past knowledge, and project our ideas into the future. A young boy may see a young girl, beautiful girl, attractive girl, and he falls in love means he likes to marry that girl. Make that girl his girlfriend. That means at the moment not a girlfriend, not the wife, but he expects that girl to be the girlfriend or the wife in the future, after the present moment. That is a wish with regard to the unborn future. And that wish may get manifested or frustrated. But through imagination, the idea of that girl becoming a girlfriend or a wife remains as if it is an actual happening. In the case of an enlightened one, there are no imaginations, their visions are realistic, and that vision we cannot understand unless we ourselves get enlightened. Buddha can see very far into the future and very far into the past. And also he can see things very far away, beyond the vision of the eye. He had the capacity, that is a special capacity of an enlightened mind, a faculty, extrasensory faculty, a miracle that gets manifested in an enlightened mind. They see the reality that we don't see. We see things and recognize things, as I mentioned earlier, with the help of our memory that we call knowledge, which is always imperfect. Because we gather knowledge through our sense organs, and no sense organ, eye, ear, nose, etc., they are unable to grasp the reality of anything because their capacity is limited. The eye has a limited capacity for seeing. The ear has a limited capacity for hearing. The nose has a limited capacity for smelling. We can smell even what a dog can smell. That means our sensations are imperfect. They are not the correct, right, true nature of things. As I mentioned earlier, we can experience only what our sense organs can create. And they can never create the true picture of anything. We see things created in our eye. We hear things created in our ear. We smell things created in our nose. We taste things created in our tongue. We created things through our touch. They are all illusions. It is going beyond this illusion that is referred to as enlightenment. The very word itself shows the disappearance of the ignorance. Metaphorically, ignorance is referred to as darkness. In darkness, you cannot see things as they are. You can see things as they are only when there is light. Therefore, illumination of the mind means the disappearance of the darkness of ignorance. When that darkness disappears, you are said to be enlightened. And that enlightenment is not a birth, a happening, or a doing, or a compulsion according to the Tatya Nibbana in the Buddhist canon, where the Buddha said, Nirvana is not non-born, ajata. Not a happening, abhuta. Not a thing done. Not a thing that is composed, asankata. Those aspects of Nirvana shows it is beyond time and space. That means it is beyond motion. As I mentioned at the beginning, motion takes time and motion can happen in space. Mentally, motion can happen in mental space and mental time, that is thinking, thought formation. Moving of the mind is identical with the thinking. Cessation of motion mentally means cessation of thinking. Cessation of thinking means cessation of illusory image making. That means cessation of the ignorance of the reality. The ultimate reality referred to as Nirvana has no form. There are no forms in Nirvana. In the Kevada Sutta, Buddha says, there is no length and breadth, long and short. All material aspects are absent in the Nirvana. There is nothing material in the Nirvana. Everything material is born to decay and die. They exist in space. Nirvana does not exist in space and time. That is why it is called in Pali Anantam, spaceless, Akalikam, Akaliko, timeless. That means there is no motion in the enlightened mind. Enlightened mind is motionless, but there is the awareness of time and space in the enlightened mind. Without moving, seeing things here and now. Enlightened one can see what happens in the future and what has happened in the past and what is happening at a long distance beyond the vision of our eye. Without any mental movement. Without any mental movement means without any thinking. It is a non-thinking mind. Non-thinking mind means a timeless mind, a spaceless mind that has no, according to the Tatya Nibbana as I mentioned, that has no birth, no manifestation, no doing, no compulsion. It is the ultimate reality which cannot be understood through any explanation. Ineffable. That has to be realized. You cannot know it. You can know an idea, but Nirvana is not an idea. That has to be realized. It is only through that realization you become one with the timeless and spaceless, motionless state of mind called Nirvana, the ultimate truth that the Buddha realized that is enlightenment.